I'm proud to announce the New Bedford Solar Initiative in front of the citizens of the City of New Bedford, along with our partners who help build a sustainable society and city here in New Bedford. I want to acknowledge these partners at this time because it would be absolutely short-sighted to just hear from the speakers on the stage and not acknowledge the great community work that is done on a daily basis here in the city. I want to thank the New Bedford Sustainability Task Force for their work over the last several years, all the members. I want to thank the organization that no longer goes by this name, but the organization Wasted Away that was led by Brian Woolley. I want to thank Clean for all their action here in the city. I want to thank Old Bedford Village Development Corporation for their work on a daily basis, not only environmental justice issues, but also in job training and helping us get the job done. I want to thank Youth Build, which has put scores of our young people to work throughout the city in projects that not only are good for our environment, are good for training for the future, but also building responsible citizens and educated citizens. I want to thank Hands Across the River, which was involved in a very early stage in environmental justice and cleaning our environment. I want to thank SEAL and the umbrella organization that it has become. I want to thank the Puerto Rican Fraternal Association, and I want to thank the Latino Coalition for all of their hard work throughout the city. I want to thank Neighborhoods United for bringing about the quality of life in our city. The Marion Institute sponsoring of the Power Team and our weatherization program. The Garfield Foundation, who has been helping fund throughout the city different environmental projects. I want to thank all of our city employees, the City of New Bedford's Energy Office, the City of New Bedford's Office of Environmental Stewardship, for not only getting the job done according to the federal, state, and local regs, ordinances, but also for thinking out of the box, bringing about a clean environment for our city. Then I want to thank the partners who are here today. Con Edison Solutions, and you'll hear from George Lopez in just a few minutes on behalf of the company. Blue Wave Capital, you'll hear from John DeVillers. Beaumont Solar Company, Alteris Renewables, who are partners in this solar initiative. And these are just a few of the many who are involved every day, our citizens. I also want to welcome the Bioneers Conference to our city again this year. This is their 7th annual conference. I believe they've been in the city now for 5. We're very, very proud of our association with the Bioneers, and we felt originally we were going to have this press conference a few weeks ago, but as we realized that making sure schedules were appropriate, the Bioneers as a backdrop was a perfect day to start this initiative. The other thing is that we knew every day we tried to set this up, it was extremely cloudy. And today we've got the sun beaming down on us, so that's a very good sign. First person that I would like to introduce is Congressman Barney Frank. Now, Congressman Frank is well known to all of us. His advocacy for sustainability at every level of a discussion is well known. We want to thank him for helping bring the resources, not only financial, but also driving this solar initiative. This solar initiative will allow us to build 10 megawatts of solar array. This will save our city approximately $500,000 a year for the next, we project, 20 years and beyond. It's the equivalent of lighting 1,500 homes. We're going to be putting this not only on buildings, municipal buildings, on municipal fields when appropriate, so it'll be not only in the air but on the ground, but we also expect that this will be a major residential push as well in our city. We also have stipulated, the Congressman has worked closely with us on this, as well as Con Ed Solutions, that all the solar panels that we use here in New Bedford will be manufactured in the United States of America. So now, I'm going to introduce Congressman Frank.
Thank you, Mayor. You may notice an unusual arrangement here on the platform. There are 10 of us up here, and there are only 9 seats. That's to make sure I don't forget about congressional redistricting. And I'm going to volunteer today to do something, Tony, I'm not volunteering to do in general, and I know you know this. When I'm finished speaking, I have to be elsewhere. I'm going to leave, so I'm going to give up my seat, but that's only for purposes of this platform. It does not extend to congressional redistricting. I am very happy to be here and to see this true representation of a great city. and a great region. And as I listen to the mayor, I'll be honest with you, sometimes with the district I have, my responsibilities, I think I have a lot of good points, but I don't claim that patience is one of my virtues. So when other people are talking, I get antsy. But as the mayor read that very long list of organizations to thank, I was very happy, because that is just a demonstration of how this community has pulled together, is pulling together, is working together. For people familiar with the region, you heard a whole list of organizations mentioned that represent every segment of our community, and that's a source of pride. I'm also delighted to be here with state officials, local officials, federal representatives, and a great set of private sector representatives, because there are people who would try to say it's the private sector versus the public sector, or the profit sector versus the nonprofit. It's only when we all do what we can contribute that we get ahead. And this is an extraordinarily important project. This is a model for the country. This is a refutation of people who say, oh, this alternative energy, this sustainable energy, that's somehow a dream. No, it's a very real thing in a very real city. And it's possible because we have all pulled together. So I am very pleased for us to be here. And when the mayor said these solar panels are going to be manufactured here, that's very relevant. People may have noted that the other day, a group of solar panel manufacturers in America filed an unfair trade practices charge against the People's Republic of China, because they are unduly subsidizing their solar panels. And people have said, well, that's good, it'll be cheaper. Yeah, it'll be cheaper until they've driven all the American ones out of business, and then the price will get jacked way up. So support for our having the capacity to do that here is one of the many important things about this project. And it's great to be here at the Zeiterion, to be here in the midst of a city that is doing its best to fight against adverse circumstances that were not its doing. So I am very proud to be here, very proud that federal funds have been helpful. Proud, and there are people who tell us, oh, you know, all this federal spending doesn't do any good. Well, federal spending was an essential part of this, as is state participation and local participation. I am very proud to be here, and I want to express my appreciation too to Con Edison, because once again, there are people who try to treat the private sector and various governments as enemies. And what we have here today is one of our great national private sector companies, Con Edison, fully participating in a way that benefits the general society, and they get some benefit from it too. It's an example of the kind of cooperation we need. So today is a day for us to feel very good about our ability to pull together, and I hope the rest of the country pays attention. This is a clear example of New Bedford refuting a lot of the negativism we deal with and showing that you can pull together and do things good for the city, good for the environment, and good for the economy. That makes it a pretty good day.
Our next speaker is Secretary Richard K. Sullivan, the Mass Secretary of Energy and Environmental Affairs. Secretary Sullivan began his work in the second term of the Patrick administration. He is well known as a mayor to me, and certainly as someone who understands what it means to deal with issues on the ground level, on the local level, and does not look at anything from 30,000 feet above, but gets right down into our neighborhoods. He's been in New Bedford several times on different projects that we're working on, and we appreciate his expertise and his friendship here in the city. He has also been committed to creating a clean energy and environmental society for all of Massachusetts. And this solar initiative goes hand in hand with what Secretary Sullivan has been striving for around the state. This is the first of many municipal partnerships designed to take us out of the oil-based economy. And it's the first one that we have, first of the kind for a Massachusetts municipality. We know it will be copied throughout the state and throughout the country. This is hometown America getting back to a situation where we're creating a clean energy source, providing jobs for our country, providing jobs in our community with the installation. And we're very pleased to have Secretary Sullivan here today.
Thank you, Mayor. It is great to be back in the city of New Bedford, a place that I have been a number of times as Commissioner at DCR and now as Secretary. And I want to thank the Mayor, the City Council, all the boards and commissions that were mentioned for their leadership on the ground. Because as I have said a number of times, the first 4 years of the Patrick administration were about energy reforms. They created and crafted, with the help of the legislature, and I know Representative Cabral's here today, and the whole delegation from New Bedford supporting the Green Communities Act, which really moved the Commonwealth forward in investments in the clean economy and clean renewable energies. Understanding that Massachusetts is at the end of the energy pipeline, that we do not have the natural fossil fuel resources here in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and that as a Commonwealth, we spend $22 billion a year in energy. And of that investment, some 80% of that, those dollars not only leave the Commonwealth, but they leave the country. And that is a gigantic lost economic opportunity for the cities and towns across the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and the region. So if we can capitalize on that investment, investing in clean, local, renewable energies and energy efficiencies, then we will ultimately create jobs and grow our economy. And this has been a phenomenal week for exactly that leadership. As we start to create the energy revolution, going city by city and town by town, business by business, and literally home by home, to have a discussion about how people use their energy and how they can do it more effectively and efficiently. On Monday, I was privileged to be in the North Shore Community College, where we dedicated the Commonwealth's first and the nation's second largest zero-net energy building on that campus. On Tuesday, the Clean Energy Center of Massachusetts released a report showing that there are now 64,000 individuals across the Commonwealth of Massachusetts that are working in the clean energy field. There are more than 4,900 companies now doing business in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts in the field of clean energy and energy efficiency. That economy, those jobs grew 6.7% last year alone. And those 4,900 companies project that they will see a 15% increase in real jobs on the ground here in Massachusetts in that particular sector. The revolution is happening, and it's happening because of the leadership of people like Mayor Lang in the city of New Bedford. On Wednesday, we were at a company known as Next Step Living that some 3.5 years ago had 4 employees working in the field of energy efficiencies. Today they have 210. They had just hired 24 people on Wednesday. They have 15 more job postings that are available. Those are real jobs, real wages, with benefits, working here in Massachusetts. And then yesterday, the governor accepted at the National Press Club in Washington, D.C., the national recognition, a report card put together by an agency, a company called ACEEE, showing that Massachusetts now leads the nation in investment in energy efficiency and is showing the greatest progress and results, both in terms of energy savings and jobs created on the ground. And it is because, but let's be clear, while those policies that were put in place in the Green Communities Act, those are all wonderful. But the results that we are going to see on the ground are only going to be happening because of conversations and changes that we make in our lifestyle, in our businesses, city by city and town by town. And we need the local conversations to happen. We need to have the local leadership happen. And that is being provided here today by Mayor Lang and everybody in the city of New Bedford. So I, on behalf of Governor Patrick, Lieutenant Governor Murray, and everybody at Environment and Energy Agencies, want to thank and congratulate Mayor Lang and the city of New Bedford for once again being leaders on clean energy and energy efficiency.
Thank you, Secretary, very much. Thank you. Now, before we hear from our federal partner, who is the administrator of the EPA, Kurt Spalding, Region 1, and we're very excited that he's here today because we have been involved as a partner with the EPA since the day I took office, and we're always happy to have the regional administrator in the city. I want to divert the program just slightly and call on our representative from the City Council, Councilor of Ward 4, Bruce Duarte. Bruce is on a tight time frame here, and I wanted to acknowledge the City Council's partnership in this, their participation and cooperation, and call Councilor Duarte to come up, please.
Thank you, Mayor. This is, a great thing. It's a great day in our city. I always talk about teamwork, partnerships, and I see, whether it's Mr. Andrade or Scott Durkee, our local delegation, folks that have worked together to make this happen. Con Ed, thank you so much. We couldn't do this without you. This is another great thing for our city. I am a cheerleader for our city. As we go forward, things like this can only make our city better, and I appreciate everyone that's here today, from the local level to the state level, the federal level. Thank you for being in our city today. Pioneers by the Bay is a great initiative. We want to thank all the partners for this event. Thank you.
Now, our next guest, as I started to say, Kurt Spaulding, is a true environmentalist. He has been an advocate, an activist, policy analyst, the administrator of EPA. He has partnered very closely with all the local communities in the region, taking a real interest in New Bedford and the issues that we have, being one of the leading industrial cities in the 20th century, in the late 19th century, and then making sure that we're able to have a healthy and clean environment here in the 21st century. He believes in a holistic approach to environmental issues, weighs in heavy on the issue of environmental justice and input for everyone. We've had a flyover and we released the birds early now. We got to get the timing right. But the fact is that Kurt's a good friend in New Bedford and one of the leading advocates for our region and our city in Washington. So we welcome him to the mic. Thank you, Kurt.
Well, it's with great excitement that I'm here today to hear about and support this great initiative here in New Bedford. I want to congratulate the mayor, who is an incredible advocate for this city. He is right. I don't think he told the whole story. I think I was on the job about 3 hours before I was down in New Bedford to meet with the mayor and hear about the issues here on the environment in New Bedford. Of course, I want to congratulate Secretary Sullivan. Everything he said is true. Massachusetts is leading the country, and I'm lucky to be the administrator of this region, so I can go around the country and boast what's happening here in Massachusetts, and now the other New England states are starting to catch up. As you may know, Connecticut is copying Massachusetts now. Rhode Island's passed laws like Massachusetts, so we're very, very lucky to have the leadership of Governor Patrick and, of course, Secretary Sullivan. I also want to say something very positive about Congressman Frank. As you may know, EPA is a big issue in Washington. Congressman Frank and his Massachusetts colleagues have done great things to defend what we do, and a part of what we do is helping New Bedford restore itself, become vital again. I like to say that the economy of the 21st century, the prosperity of the 21st century, will be built on clean land, clean air, clean water. And nowhere is that more true than here in New Bedford. The kind of things I'm hearing about, people coming back to New Bedford to live, to work, to play, is all because of the efforts to clean up this city. We're proud to be a partner in this. I know that in these plans include the idea of putting some solar on a Superfund site at Sullivan Ledge. This is something that's happening all over New England. It's a very exciting development. We're also very excited to see some of the wastewater facilities around New England become net zero wastewater facilities. It's something we're partnered with the state of Massachusetts on. It's all good here. It's all good here, and I'm very proud to be here and be part of this. Sustainability is something this region is going to talk about. I'm told by my wonderful boss, Lisa P. Jackson, that words like sustainability and climate change are not allowed to be said in Washington because it invokes this tremendous response from you-know-who. But the bottom line is, in New England, we can talk about these things, we can move on these things, and we can build a healthier tomorrow. So again, I want to congratulate the leadership of everybody involved, and especially Mayor Lang, who I know is wrapping up things here in New Bedford. I'm going to come down in a week or so and do some more meetings with him, and we're going to take stock of where everything is and hopefully put things on a path to continued improvement going forward. So again, congratulations to everyone.
Thank you, Kurt. Our next speaker is someone who just lives across the river. Mark Sylvia is the Mass Department of Energy Resources Commissioner. He's been involved with this project extensively and also is involved on a regular basis, hailing from Fairhaven, having extensive municipal experience. It's something that we have tried to take as much advantage of as possible for a beneficial way for our region. So it's a great appointment by the governor, and I don't believe that Commissioner Sylvia has had an opportunity to speak in front of the city of New Bedford until today, so we welcome him to the mic.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor. No pressure or anything, of course. As the Commissioner of the Department of Energy Resources, it gives me great pride, if I can be parochial for a minute here. For me, this project and all of the efforts, Mr. Mayor, that you have initiated in the area of clean energy I and my family are great beneficiaries of. I have the good fortune of having been born in the city at St. Luke's Hospital, living across the river in Fairhaven, raising my family. And I know that it's these types of projects, whether it's solar PV projects or energy efficiency projects, that help create a better environment for my family and my neighbors and my friends. And so, Mr. Mayor, one of your legacies as you wrap up your term in office is certainly one of sustainability and helping to create a cleaner energy future for Greater New Bedford, and thank you very much for that. I also want to say a few words about New Bedford as a clean energy leader. The Department of Energy Resources is a soldier in the revolution that Secretary Sullivan was talking about, Governor Patrick's clean energy revolution. And our agency is responsible for working with residents and businesses and municipalities to help them meet their energy goals. We're so fortunate to go across this state from Cape Cod to the Berkshires and support citizens in these efforts. But I want to talk about New Bedford and how New Bedford has shown leadership in clean energy in the South Coast region. This project, this solar PV project, is a great public-private partnership between the City of New Bedford, Con Edison, and Blue Wave. The city should be applauded for its efforts in working with the private sector and with other municipal officials to make this project a reality. But the city is also focused on energy efficiency. By working with community organizations, they've been able to mobilize and focus on weatherization in hard-to-reach communities. In addition, they've responsibly used $900,000 in stimulus funds, and we should not be apologetic about energy stimulus funds, because the City of New Bedford has put those dollars to work. Thank you to President Obama. Thank you to our congressional leaders for helping to support that. But it doesn't stop here. The city is excited with their New Bedford Energy Now initiative and working to also bring solar to commercial businesses and residential homes. So I look forward to continuing to work with the City of New Bedford on behalf of Governor Patrick and my boss, Secretary Sullivan, to help the city not only create a cleaner energy future for its citizens, but for the whole South Coast region. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker is George Lopez, who is the CEO of Con Edison Solutions. Con Edison Solutions is a leading energy services company that provides competitive power supply, renewable energy, sustainable services, and cost-effective energy solutions for commercial, industrial, residential, and governmental customers. Con Ed Solutions in this compact will own the solar installations on the city sites and will enter into long-term power purchase agreements with the city. Con Ed Solutions will also have the responsibility for installation, ongoing operations, and maintenance, and will finance the projects. To help boost the area employment, Con Ed Solutions has also agreed to maximize its use of local construction contractors for the project. Mr. Lopez joined Con Ed Solutions in 2002. He most recently served as a Senior Vice President of Retail Commodity and Energy Services, where he was responsible for the development of the leadership of the company's energy services and retail commodity divisions. He also had the former position of Vice President of Sales. In getting to know Mr. Lopez a little bit, I know he's someone who firmly believes in what we do, which is clean environments for our kids, which is doing it in a cost-effective way, which is maintaining an American perspective on the 21st century as far as an oil economy and weaning ourselves from it and going to alternative. So you couldn't have found a better partner than Mr. Lopez and his entire team. And we welcome him here to New Bedford today.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Let me begin by saying my mother would be very proud to hear that. So thank you. Let me begin. I had the fortune of leading Con Edison Solutions, and just for to kind of put it forward, while we are a New York-based national energy service company, I am not a Yankees fan. So let me go ahead and get that out. And I've been scoping out the audience for that. But I'm very excited to be here today, not just for launching this event, but for knowing that there are visionaries like Mayor Lang who are willing to take ideas and concepts and to move them to the forefront. So we're very excited that we're here to work with him to expand the use of renewable and solar energy here in Massachusetts, especially here in New Bedford. Certainly I'd like to thank all the other dignitaries that have been here today and the folks that have spoken, who are all partners in this effort, in this initiative. This initiative sets out and is a perfect example for how we can promote collectively the idea of clean energy for municipalities around the Commonwealth and around the country as a whole. Let me just briefly just kind of emphasize some of the points that Mayor Lang spoke about what our company is and what we represent. As I said, we are a national energy services company. We have 9 offices throughout the country, one of which is right here in Massachusetts, headquartered in Burlington. We provide a competitive electric supply in states throughout the country that have deregulated electricity. And we provide clean energy through green sources to over 24,000 of our customers. That's over close to 10% of our customers have made the choice to buy clean energy and to work with that and embed that commitment in their, and that's their contribution back to the environment. We do that by providing clean energy through run-of-the-river hydro, through wind energy, and then what you're seeing here today, which is the launching of ideas of providing solar energy to our customers as well. We are not new to Massachusetts. We have a long-standing relationship with the Cape Light Compact, which is an organization that provides competitive energy supply to over 21 towns and 2 of the counties that represent the Cape and Martha's Vineyard. That's representing over 175,000 customers where we deliver that supply, combined with energy efficiency program, consumer advocacy for getting the rules right that will allow initiatives like this to take hold. We also provide that same competitive supply through that aggregation to the city of Marlborough, which represents almost 15,000 customers as well. Here in the New Bedford area, in the Fall River, we also provide to several dozen industrial institution customers competitive energy supplies. And just as an example of the benefit of that, for the past 5 years we've been providing that through a designated provider, which is the South Coast Electric Power Group. It's a consortium that is sponsored by the New Bedford Chamber of Commerce and the Fall River Area Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And through the first quarter of 2011, I'm proud to say that the group has saved over $12 million through this collective purchasing of their electric supply. A second and very important point that was made earlier is the importance of delivering energy efficiency services, of which we're working with several municipalities. We've done several major projects as well that are represented in work that we've done at the JFK Presidential Library, where we've undergone significant energy efficiency initiatives, and we recently completed an effort with the Coast Guard in the city of Boston as well. Most recently, we've launched this third effort, which is working with municipalities to develop rooftop and ground-based solar installations similar to the program that we're announcing today. I'm proud to say again that you're hearing about this new initiative with New Bedford, where we will install up to 10 megawatts of projects on rooftops, making use of brownfield sites that have historically had been questionable how you can develop those sites. So hopefully we're going to be working through and developing efforts and projects on those. Today we're going to be launching, and I'm proud to say that we're under construction with 5 city-owned sites initially, with several others that are currently under review, and we hope to be able to move to construction on soon. Con Edison Solutions, as the mayor mentioned, will own the facilities. We'll enter into long-term agreements with the city of New Bedford for the offtake to purchase the energy that's generated through those, and we will be responsible for both the installation, the ongoing maintenance of these projects as well. Once the project's complete, on the 5 projects, so we will be tapping into that renewable solar. That is the equivalent of taking almost 1 million gallons of gasoline off the road, 40 rail cars of coal every year. And so that's important, and certainly that is no longer insignificant when you start to multiply the efforts that these types of projects, or the impact that these projects can have. In closing, let me just say that we are pleased again to be joining Mayor Lang in this effort, and as well as the folks and all of the associations that were mentioned earlier, to make this program reality. And we expect that we will be able to expand this program, promote sustainability, promote the right things for the economy, and to make a self-sufficient supply of energy that helps secure the nation's future, and certainly the future of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts and the city of New Bedford. So once again, thank you all very much for allowing us to speak, and Mayor, thank you very much.
John DeVillers is the principal of Blue Wave Capital, LLC. John DeVillers was, from 1994 to 2000, the head of the New England U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. And under his leadership, New Bedford, not only New Bedford, New England, the entire region made tremendous strides in smart growth, regulatory reform, brownfield development, remediation, and winning more awards. And we know it's not about awards. We know it's not about awards, right, John? But winning more awards for successful reform than any other EPA office, when that was something that was extremely important. Determining the day-to-day success of our regions was something that John stood for, and certainly in New Bedford, tremendous progress was made. He is a true leader, team player, behind-the-scenes gentleman. He has been extremely helpful to New Bedford in the last 6 years on a number of different environmental issues. We've tapped into his expertise. He is now working with Blue Wave as the principal and is the coordinator of this solar energy initiative. I want to thank John for his tireless work. Ask him to please come up and explain the different people that he worked with and how we've brought this about. So John, please.
You'd be glad to know I'm going to be mercifully brief, because I think there's still speakers between me and lunch for all of you. So I appreciate people coming here, and I appreciate the time to mostly to thank a lot of people who are here today, and some who aren't. I want to set a little bit of the context for this, though, and just add to what the mayor and Barney and others said. Today, the mayor and his team are putting New Bedford on the map as one of the very few handful of cities in this country that's embraced sustainability and smart energy policy. The city's doing it not only because it makes sense in terms of job creation, which it will mean and already has meant, not only because it makes sense in terms of cost savings, but also because it's morally right. And I think the city should be proud of its leadership and proud of what a team of people have done, really not just to create jobs, not just to cut energy, but really to show the way for other cities and towns across the Commonwealth, and across the country. There are a lot of people who deserve to be thanked for this, a lot of people who have contributed. As Barney said, this doesn't happen without the support of the federal government. When I was at EPA, and I think Kurt would back this up, there are 36 members of the New England congressional delegation. I can say without fear of contradiction, there was no one who was more insistent and persistent among that delegation on behalf of any community than Barney was for New Bedford. You all know that, you benefit from it every day, but in terms of the environment of New Bedford and the cleanup of the Superfund sites, this initiative, Barney Frank, is a blessing for this community. There are other legislators who make a difference as well. Rick and Mark talked about the Green Communities Act, which is central to everything that we're doing here. And Tony Cabral, who is here today and a member of the legislature, has a long history of supporting environmentally progressive policies on Beacon Hill and the Green Communities Act especially. So thank you to you as well, Tony. Kurt Spalding has his hands full in New Bedford, and I can't think of a better mayor or better congressman to make sure that he continues EPA's strong commitment to this city. But Kurt's presence here today, his support for using brownfield sites, Superfund sites for development is important for this initiative, important for everything that so many of us are trying to do. So thank you to him. This wouldn't happen without the support and leadership of Con Ed Solutions. George Lopez and Mike Perna are here today. Peter Blum is here today. One of their leaders, Chris Nevin, is here also somewhere. All have made great contribution to this. George and Mike have stepped in, as the mayor will be the first to tell you. This hasn't been always a smooth course. There's been ups and downs. I think Scott would attest to that. But George and Mike have been willing to step up when it's needed as the mayor to really resolve some difficult issues. So that's appreciated. But Peter Blum and Chris, and importantly Jim Vanderpass, who's leading the Con Ed team here in New Bedford, but isn't here today, have been instrumental. Without them, there would not be this project. And that's also true of our community partners, of Jen Marshall and Buddy Andrade and Craig Dutra and others that are critical to this, the Marion Institute. Our commitment, the whole philosophy behind this initiative is that it's to benefit the community in job creation, in education, and in jobs. And there'll be an announcement the mayor will be making in the not too distant future about the residential program. Our community partners have been critical to that, as have the installers and engineers who are here. We're bringing world-class talent, engineering and design and construction talent to that, to this effort, and it's already creating jobs in New Bedford. Phil Cavallo and Maureen Ruda and the folks at Beaumont Solar, Mark Nelson and his colleagues, Ben Swanson, who are here from Alteris. Alteris has their distribution center and operations center here, 14 jobs there. Phil Cavallo's adding people left and right because they're very effective engineers and designers and constructors of this project, so these projects. So we're very grateful for their contribution as well. I would just conclude by thanking the most important people in this initiative, and that's the mayor and the team that he has in place to make this happen. Scott Durkee and Jim Ritchie, Ron LaBelle, Matt Morrissey, Liz Tredup. It's been an incredible team effort. We've gotten support, all the support we've needed and then some, and tremendous leadership from the mayor. So to all of you and to the city especially, thanks for your role in what's a great project. We're just at the starting line, by the way. This isn't the finish line by any means, but I think if we move quickly, we can make New Bedford the solar capital of New England and a model for the rest of the country. So that's what we intend to do. Thank you very much.
Our next speaker is the team leader for the U.S. Department of Energy's Efficiency and Conservation Blocks Grant Program. Ted Donat is someone that we have worked with over the last few years. I know that he was very, very helpful, his department, extremely helpful in an initiative that we did through the DOT, which was championed by the HTC and Kristen Dekas regarding shoreside power, which is an initiative that's going to take make the air in our city much cleaner, cut down on the use of diesel fuel when fishing vessels are tied up at port and they have to run their electronics, they have to run their systems that they need for bailing or for keeping refrigeration. So we look forward to continuing to work with Ted on a myriad of issues, but we're very happy he's here today and recognize him as part of our team. Ted?
Thanks very much. Almost at lunch. My name's Ted Donat. I'm from the U.S. Department of Energy, and it's great to be here in Massachusetts. I went to school here. I spent my summers working out on the Cape, so I have a real fondness for this area. I'd first like to thank Mayor Lang, Secretary Sullivan, Congressman Frank, and the other dignitaries here on the stage for the opportunity to represent the U.S. Department of Energy and specifically the Office of Energy Efficiency and Renewable Energy. New Bedford is a really fantastic example of how energy efficiency funds are being put to use all across the country. This was by no means a one-size-fits-all proposition. A lot of flexibility was built into our process so communities could tailor their grants to meet their most pressing local energy needs. And New Bedford is a fantastic example of that. And one of the things that's really such a great good news story here is they took an $80,000 grant from the U.S. Department of Energy and leveraged it many times over with a public-private partnership. And this is exactly the kind of story that's being replicated all across the country today. The EECBG program is one of the signature programs of the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act. Every day, our projects support energy upgrades for government, commercial, residential buildings. We're providing energy efficiency financing. We're improving transportation networks. We're installing renewable energy systems. We've approved grants for over 2,300 states, cities, counties, towns, and tribal nations, from the largest cities to the small towns in every state across the country. If you looked at a map of EECBG projects, you'd be forgiven for thinking that you were looking at one of the wireless phone company maps showing nationwide coverage, because our projects are literally everywhere. Our dollars are upgrading schools, courthouses, police stations, office buildings, libraries, community centers, fire stations, on and on. Here are just a few examples of what our funds have accomplished to date. We've performed energy upgrades in over 40,000 buildings, representing 269 million square feet. So if you consider for a moment that the average single-family home is about 2,000 square feet, that's the equivalent of about 134,500 single-family homes. We've supported the installation of about 38,000 kilowatts of solar energy systems, just like the one here in New Bedford. We've supported building code changes in 182,000 new or existing buildings. We've synchronized traffic signals on almost 2,000 street lane miles of road. That's enough to get you from here in New Bedford to Denver. We've installed or retrofitted over 200,000 energy efficient street lights, upgraded 95,000 traffic signals, and we've performed energy upgrades in over 21,000 homes, and the list just goes on and on. The best part is that these projects are repeatable, they're cost effective, and they're putting people to work. Not just here in New Bedford, but all the way from Anchorage, Alaska to Bangor, Maine. And in addition to New Bedford here in Massachusetts, there are 44 other Massachusetts communities that received a total of $43 million to develop, promote, implement, and manage local energy efficiency projects through our program. You heard about the ACEEE announcement alluded to earlier that Massachusetts has overtaken California as the #1 energy state in the U.S. It's a phenomenal achievement, and we certainly celebrate that. Thank you. I don't know why I'm saying thank you. I had nothing to do with that. So working together, the point is we can create jobs and we can increase economic growth by developing and using clean energy technologies, and we can save businesses, local governments, and households real money by cutting down on energy waste. And most importantly, together we can diversify our energy portfolio to cut pollution and improve our national energy security. Thank you.
You can see the integrity of Ted. eschewing that thank you. So that was great. We also know that Ted will be working throughout this city and region, helping us out, and we welcome him being here today. Now, I want to thank a few people, and then we're going to break. I know we have demonstration vehicles, or we have vehicles that have demonstration solar panels on them. There are plenty of questions I'm sure everyone asks. So as soon as we're done with this, we can move over to there. I want to say a few quick things though before the next speaker. This is a teaching moment for our children. This is a teaching moment for our entire city, region, and state. This is something that every school in our city is going to be impacted on in one way or the other. 25% of the electricity bill for the city of New Bedford, we hope to recapture by way of solar power. So it'll allow us to take and put our money into important priorities, such as educating our kids. In addition, many of our school buildings will have solar power arrays on them, which means that the gauges, the different indicators as to how much energy we're producing and how it works will all be taught in our schools. I want to recognize Dr. Mary Louise Francis, our superintendent here this morning. Thank her very much for attending, and I know she's a key partner in this. The other person that I want to bring up to the mic now representing our school committee is Dr. John Fletcher for a few words, and then I have just some final thoughts, and then we will go see our solar panels. So John?
Thank you, everyone. I'm going to be very brief because I know that our primary source of solar energy keeps going in and out, and I know that it's getting very chilly here this morning. First of all, I'm usually one of the last ones to speak, and everyone has said everything that there is to say. I want to thank every single person here. I want to add one thing about Mayor Lang, and I want to thank him for beautiful downtown New Bedford. And the fact that we have all these visitors here today from the federal government and from the state so they can see our beautiful downtown. It wasn't always this way, believe me. So he deserves a lot of credit for that. How appropriate that we were having this press conference today during the biennial program that is taking place, because in our schools we will have a teaching program for the children. As the mayor says, this will be a teachable moment. We will have a curriculum. We already have an environmental curriculum. This is something that our children will embrace. And if you notice one thing about the anti-smoking campaign, and I'm going to compare this now to this particular project, I give the school children more credit than anybody else for the fact that smoking has decreased so much, because I know what happens. You see it all the time. A father lights up a cigarette in the car, and one of his little kids says, "Dad, come on," right? A child lights up a cigarette in the house, and the children run outside. And it was the children who were the most responsible for the decrease in smoking throughout the country. And when our children see solar panels on their schools, and the teachers are talking and teaching science lessons all the time, using the solar panels, we will see that those children will go home and they will say, "Dad, we just have to get solar panels." This is the mind of a child. And the mind of a child, I always like to speak for the children. Not that I have the mind of a child, but I always like to speak for the children. And children are the ones who lead the adults. And believe me, after we have all these solar panels, it is our children that will lead the way. So I want to thank everyone involved. This is a great moment for the city of New Bedford. Thank you very much.
I'm going to finish up by the sound of my voice. I just want to say a few last things. First, Representative Tony Cabral is here representing the state delegation. He's over here to my right. Representative Cabral has been at the forefront of the sustainability movement. And I can reference something that I think is very interesting and you might want to take a look at one day. When there was the discussion about how we would fund the greatest environmental project in the state, which is South Coast Rail, Tony Cabral presented the fact that everything is interrelated. All transportation's interrelated. All environmental stresses are interrelated. To take cars off the road is something that's extremely important, and looked at the idea of funding it by way of a cost plus, which meant looking at what it costs to run cars, looking at what it costs to run carbon-based type of transportation, and try and peel away money towards those type of stressors and put it towards something that moves people. It was something I'm sure that is still on the table, but the fact of the matter was he was bold enough to say we need to start thinking about different solutions to the same old problems, and I think that was a great thing, and it gave me an awful lot of confidence that we will build South Coast Rail before long, and we will find a way to finance it that combines smart growth and smart environmental policies. The other thing that I want to say is that this project, you're going to see it's going to be seamless. We're going to get it done, and it's going to be a tremendous project. But I can tell you it's very complicated, very difficult. I want to thank Secretary Sullivan and everyone who works for him, because without the state's help, you don't get this done. Secondly, I want to thank people at Con Ed Energy Solution. This involves not only practical implementation, but also a wide array of legal issues across the board. We have areas in this city that we want to use again, and we want it to be productive in the city. But there are legal issues that tied to each and every one of them based on 19th and 20th century type of issues regarding brownfields and remediation. We're working very closely with the EPA and with Administrator Spalding and Secretary Sullivan to break through on these issues, to set up a model so that everyone can feel comfortable when they try and do the next great thing and are inhibited because of things that were done 100 years ago. So it's very complicated. It's also very gratifying when you begin to break through. I want to thank our solicitor's office, Irene Shaw, and all the solicitors who worked on these complicated problems with Con Ed Solutions attorneys, who were extremely helpful, extremely cooperative, and I've gotten to know some by way of some of the meetings, and I can tell you they're true partners. The last thing I want to say is there were two individuals who worked very hard on these type of issues. Scott Durkee, who we had the good fortune of bringing down from the state, and he's been working on this project now for about a year. And then Scott Alphonse, who, as you know, has been offered the job as the Regional Refuge District Administrator. That's just in Dartmouth. We're part of the district. We're the largest obviously, user within the district. That is a great position for him. He'll be a fantastic administrator. But I have to tell you that for the last 2 decades, he's been the environmental steward in New Bedford. Sometimes he stood alone. He stood alone facing an awful lot of criticism, both from people within government as well as from the citizens. He's never wavered. His only goal has been a clean environment, a safe environment for our kids and our families. So I want to thank Scott for all of his hard work. I know we're not saying goodbye to Scott. Scott's going to be around for several more months here working for the city and live a long, happy life working in the district for us. But the fact of the matter is, these things are not just put down in paper and you order them, and next thing you know, they pop up. There are thousands of people hours involved in this from all types of expertise that have worked on this project, and we want to thank them very, very much. Now, we have some solar panels here. We also have an awful lot of people up here with a great deal of expertise. If the press wants to ask any questions, or if any of our citizens want to come by and say hello, thank you very much for attending the announcement today.
It has evolved and grown to the point where it's much closer to mass market adoption compared to even 10 or 15 years ago, where you absolutely could buy a kit and install it yourself. And the requirements were minimal, so it was possible to meet them on your own.